I've got the, like say, 6000 series white, and I was going to some no-till and didn't have enough nitrogen because I was spraying live cover crop behind my planter, and we were worried about the amount of nitrogen that was being pulled, even though I was doing in-furrow pop-up, that I wasn't going to have enough later in the season. And I said, well, by killing the cover crop, I'd be getting that back later in the season. But we weren't going to have it when we wanted it in the beginning by killing that cover crop. So we feel like we figured out that by adding 10 gallons of liquid 32 2x2 is far enough away from the seed to not hurt anything, but yet there's enough, it's close enough to the seed and enough fertilizer that the cover crop, when it goes to carbonize before it releases the nitrogen, has that extra. So my seed has everything it needs for startup in the beginning of the season, and then midway through the summer when that breaks down, it releases that back in, and I'm gaining that. It's very similar to a late season lower application of nitrogen. And quite commonly up in Vermont at that time of year, for me, the soil's wet enough. If I'm in there with a sprayer trying to do some drop nozzles, I've got compaction, I've got ruts, and other things I don't want. If I still need some late season, I can go back and everything's drier at that point. And I was able to skip that application, and I've actually found, for what it costs for one large application of nitrogen, I was able to buy the G2, install it on my planter, buy a plastic tank for my nitrogen, and enough nitrogen 1 year for that 10 gallons the acre, for about half of what it costs for one complete application of nitrogen.
Wow.
And I've actually, since I've done that, only once in the last 4 years that I've had that system have I ever gone back with a nitrogen, and that was this year in 2019 when we had,
it was so wet.
It was so wet, so wet. We went in on some of the crops and did it, but with those same crops, never got manure spread on this spring.
Really?
Due to the too much water.
You run a dairy then too, and
yes,
you put a lot of manure on it.
Yeah, we're waste-based management with dairy manure, and I try to get as much as I can out of the manure. It's a product I have. There's always environmental things to watch out for, so more manure, I could grow a better crop, but environmentally, to be responsible, you can't.
Yeah, right.
And I'm finding that at this rate, I'm still on my soil samples, not getting to the point where I've got to add a lot of lime. I'm not using so much nitrogen.
All right. And so you're planting cover crops and stuff, and this is helping you. You're not wrapping or anything with these wheels?
I'm not. I had Schlegel wheels before.
Yeah.
And if the cover crop had gotten torn up or anything, or even my tractor maybe spun or something like that, it would wrap on those wheels.
Yeah.
So I switched when I originally did my G2s. I ran one Mohawk or one Schlegel.
Yeah.
It worked well. And then the next year I went to all Mohawks because I had some tall cover crop, and it was like 4 feet tall.
Yeah.
That wrap, and the Mohawks didn't wrap.
Yeah, you put the Mohawk on. Okay. Got her. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.